Now to this, as tensions continue to escalate in the Middle East, the ANC is calling for maximum restraint from Israel, the US and Iran for a peaceful resolution to the conflicts. United States President Donald Trump earlier indicated that its operation could go on for the next 4 weeks. For more on this, we are joined by the ANC's Alvin. Mr. Buertes, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this evening. We know that Iran is known to be one of the longest-standing friends of the ANC and its support that it's given to the liberation movement over the years. I believe you're making your way to the Middle East at this point in time. The ANC has released its statement with regards to asking for a de-escalation, not only from Israel, the US, but from Iran, as we see those retaliatory attacks that are coming also from that end.
Yes, no, thank you very much, Katleho. I think the ANC have released a statement where we have been emphatic calling for de-escalation and engagement between the warring parties. This is important in particular because what is really at hand is the issue about, the ability and the privilege of Iran to be able to utilize nuclear for development and scientific purposes. You would recall, Katleho, that there has been the JCPOA, which was a nuclear agreement which was co-guaranteed by members of the Security Council, plus Germany and the European Union. And that actually have worked very well to ensure that the enrichment levels in terms of the nuclear and by Iran was obviously, there was particular safeguards from the International Atomic Energy Agency that was put in place. But in 2015, the US obviously unilaterally withdrew from that agreement. So I think as the African National Congress, we are calling for a reset, for de-escalation, and of course to go back to the engagement table using the JCPOA obviously as its immediate reference point.
Well, I mean, you're asking for a de-escalation, but we heard earlier from the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and he was saying that the war against Iran is not aimed at building democracy, but rather what they're looking to do is end Iran's nuclear ambitions. Do you think we'll see an end in sight at any time in the near future?
Well, I think as the ANC, that's evidently what we have called for. We have called for de-escalation, we have called for dialogue, we have called for cessation of hostilities, and any debate as it relates to nuclear proliferation. Obviously, in this instance, the JCPOA is obviously the central mechanism. This JCPOA, Katleho, was underwritten, and endorsed by the UN Security Council. And it have actually, kept the peace, in particular in the Middle East. So where countries are concerned, like the US is a member of the United Nations Security Council. It is a member of the P5, those 5 permanent members with veto powers, together with Germany and the EU. They were what we call the co-guarantors of this nuclear agreement. And I think as the ANC, what we are requesting is for us to re-energize the multilateral system, that the UNSC, the United Nations Security Council, should obviously be seized with this matter, and that we use the JCPOA as the immediate reference point. What we are obviously, not subscribing to as the people's movement is the war rhetoric, a heightening of the military complex in the Middle East. And I think as a peace-loving people, this war has effects not only in the Middle East, Katleho. It will adversely affect Africa. It will adversely affect South Africa because of the different trading routes, because of the energy, the fuel prices. We are speaking about possibility of heightening of inflation. And so economically, for South Africa's own national interest, what is in our immediate interest is an immediate cessation of hostilities. We think there is adequate room for negotiations, for engagement, and we would want to suggest, obviously, and encourage, the United States of America as a preeminent member of the UN Security Council, obviously, to invoke the statutes of the UNSC and engage, with Iran and with partners in the Middle East in relation to how do we, revitalize the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the JCPOA.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Alvin. That's ANC NEC member, making his way to the Middle East with the ANC, of course, calling there for a de-escalation from all parts that are a part of this conflict.